Hello everybody. If there is one thing that the stock market does not like, it is uncertainty. And after last night's debate, a lot of people are uncertain about the future of the leadership in this country when it comes to the presidential role. If you listen to both candidates speak, they'll often tout about how the stock market was good under their leadership. Usually Trump will say this: the stock market's actually going up right now because they know your favorite president's coming back. And Kamala will just say this: when you think about the American dream and what has been unburdened by what's unburdened and how that unburdened the unburdened, the stock market under our presidency is up. Truth be told, the presidency is a very big thing, but when it comes to the stock market and your returns, it doesn't make that giant of an impact at the end of the day. The president doesn't have any crazy impact on the stock market's return over the long term. Now, obviously, if one of these two leaders gets us into World War III, I'd expect to be buying a dip for a bit there. But today I'll be discussing some of the equities I think could benefit, temporarily when it comes to price return, either a Kamala or Trump election. Thank you to my channel members, SoFi Boy, Major Speed, Jacob, and Redwood. I appreciate you all. On to the video.
Hello, I like money.
To start off, I just want to state the obvious here, and I already stated it in the intro, but it really should not matter long term of who gets elected this presidency. Now, when it comes to your personal beliefs, policies, and all that stuff, it does matter. But in relation to the stock market, the president doesn't really have any control over it. Now, the president can control things that may have an influence on the stock market's pricing. Anything can really impact that. It's not like a direct policy or anything that's going to have the S&P 500 shooting up 3% a day. A company that's historically impacted positively in election years is Smith & Wesson. To keep it niche, they sell weapons. They don't want to get demonetized. They typically do good in election years because of the uncertainty. People are going to be stocking up on more weapons. But I do believe Trump is more of a Second Amendment president than Kamala would be if you look at their policies and gun safety and all that. I do believe if Trump were to get elected, Smith & Wesson would see a positive up in their stock price. Once again, if you're actually investing in the company, it really shouldn't matter who gets elected. You're basically investing for the future free cash flows. But if you want to make some short-term swing trades or whatever, keep that in mind. The next thing that I do want to address is how the next president will more likely than not have to be responsible for the next recession or major stock market crash. It's pretty much been since 2008 that we've had a major recession. Obviously, 2020 did happen, but it wasn't on the level of that. It's inevitable that we're eventually going to see a stock market crash, recession, or prolonged bull market, and I think the next president is more likely than not going to have to take some accountability when it comes to that. So keep that in mind. Obviously, you cannot predict anything. We could have another 15 years of a bull market, which is why you don't try to time stocks. But the next president-elect is going to have to take some responsibility and be prepared if this were to happen, because more likely than not, looking at all the economic indicators, past performance, and the overall sort of bubble that we're in right now when it comes to the stock market's performance, and just the disalignment of cash flows to stock prices. And if you look historically at how often corrections and crashes happen, more likely than not, there's going to be a pretty big one in the next 4 years. Something that actually will impact us as long-term investors is capital gains tax rates, which has been a big topic recently in finance. Now, capital gains tax rates right now are pretty favorable, especially for the long term. Right now, the big kind of sentiment with the Democratic Party is tax the rich. When at the end of the day, the capital gains tax, which I'll talk about, that they're kind of proposing right now is actually going to be hurting more middle-class people than actual rich people. Thankfully, though, this will most likely will not go through Congress, as a lot of the Congress are some of the best traders in the entire world. Coincidence? I think not. Kamala Harris proposed a 28% tax on long-term capital gains for people making more than $1 million annually, which is honestly pretty concerning. Now, I do believe that there are a lot of ways to deduct your income and work around that $1 million annually mark, but still, that's not something you want to see, and I would actually doubt that that policy will go into place. I don't think it would go through Congress. The taxing of unrealized gains is only for people with a net worth above $100 million or something. Please fact check me there. But I think the worrisome thing here is that it could potentially have a trickle-down effect, and 100 million goes to 75, 75 goes to 50, go on and go on. So I think the president actually has the most direct impact when it comes to the stock market, more so on our taxes. Imagine buying Starbucks stock just a few weeks ago, you're up 28%, and boom, all your gains are taken away because you make over $1 million a year. I believe this tax code is punishing people who are smart with their money, intelligent with their investments, and I think it sends the wrong message to people looking to achieve the American dream. It's definitely lowering the bar for entry to the game, but it's also lowering the reward as well, which is, I think, something that has always kind of been the final goal and destination for entrepreneurs. and it's unfortunate. Now, I don't think this is actually going to go through Congress whatsoever, but I would be kind of concerned about this philosophy if it continues, if Harris does get elected, if you're an investor and you care about your taxes and gains. But once again, there's a lot of ways to work around your capital gains taxes and deductions and all that. That's why you hire a CPA. I think a few sectors that would probably benefit from a Harris election would be like clean energy. Maybe stock tickers like NextEra Energy would do good. Small caps as well, I think, could do all right. Maybe some cannabis companies, even though she's not had the best track record with that. Both candidates, though, have said that they'd be fine with legalizing marijuana. Trump seems a little more strict on it. He wants to do it in a clean way. Harris seems to be on board with the federal legalization. So if you own a company like High Tide, like I do, or Altria, could be good for you. With Trump, I would expect more conservative plays such as like oil, energy companies to do better, and weapon companies as well. I would expect to do better with Trump. But overall, if you're a long-term investor, you're buying the S&P 500, you'll be fine. Big takeaway from the video, if you guys want to take anything away, the president-elect really shouldn't have any impact on long-term stock market performance. There's going to be a lot of potential buying opportunities, in my opinion, as there's a lot of uncertainty right now, and that's what I've been doing. Don't try and time the market, just consistently invest and you'll be fine. Thank you all for watching. Smash like and subscribe. Do dividend stocks, not drugs, and have a good one.